abusia for say de Ghana ya so ya ye hye papa isan say nya Ghana nko amomba ye de ne hia ye abrante o se papa ya hu ni screen si ni tiri white Donald Trump Donald Trump say no timu say papa na ni abre wasan sign executive order foforo na no ye hu say o sign executive orders ahodo ane ye say ye nye say ye mpewe ye mpewe say de aman bi bebe eduosia 60 ye na ye ho akoka aga na ka ho bi echem say what the tariff ato importers eso it's Ghana ha na wo import bibi akọ if anything
who export
bibi efi US aba Ghana hanum say ya
who export if Ghana ko US
okay and no there 10% edaso
so the whole thing has to do with what we call a trade deficit. A trade deficit is when a particular country imports more than it exports. So that's where trade deficit came inside. So Trump paper says the US has a trade deficit of $2.5 trillion and he wants to balance it out. Does the US import a lot of Ghanaian products? They do, what I say, but Ghana forced to how often do we also import a US product? We really don't. And you say yempe yenisika what I say. For example, a normal 70-inch TV America can cost somewhere around $2,000 or $1,500, whereas a crew man say you could have 5,000 cedis, 10,000 cedis, a bit maybe. Like I said, comparing that to almost 30,000. So that is what we call trade. So we prefer to take it cheaper from China, but we don't prefer to take it from US because we think it's expensive. At the same time, too, America also take our cocoa and other things. So these things in a trade deficit. But then there's a video of what he did and how Ghana's name came inside. I'll explain everything into detail because the vice president here is still in stroke. He vowed to fight back up until stroke actually. Video
In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less, so how can anybody be upset? European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. 39%. We're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, but 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them 24%. If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%. We're going to bring it down to 49%. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%.
So that is what a President Donald Trump, president of the USA, what they are better to. It's not only Ghana. Tell me, about it. Be more their crowd so Ghana for them.
Yeah, this Osha last down. Wow, you can see Ghana.
Yeah.
Let's do this bigger for you to see. Snebo Binka so Muna Mode Ghana. I can't shut down. Wow, I think Ghana we are just beneath Ethiopia, as you can see. So Ghana we charge 17%.
And they are charging us
importing something from a USA, which they be Pinaxtv is actually a victim of it. Your cameras need BBF US. Ubitima or that 30,000 beba, then you have to go and pay like 10,000 cedis. Wait to you know customs say but I could additional duty for 10,000 so this is exactly the trade imbalances at air cost. But then let's explain, because people would like to know why this and why now. Now, Trump campaigned on two things. The first one was the economy. The second one was immigration. Okay, and Trump, or a businessman or said the U.S. has a trade deficit. And I'm saying a trade deficit usually occurs when a country imports more goods and services than it exports. So in this particular case, the United States of America, it is importing a lot of goods than it exports to other countries. So in these cases, some countries use a certain kind of mechanism, if anything, taxes, to block the U.S. From actually having a fair competition in their country. For example, Ghana has a way, let me give you a typical example. Say, car, you pay so much, especially try so better car if you US. Last time I was trying to buy a Wrangler, now me call a Cars Guru, and I'm choosing Wrangler. The car will cost somewhere around $25,000. Meaning about the duty, because to me a duty calculation no be customs on more websites. You put the car, the year, the miles, then no generate amount. $25,000 no car no. You end up paying like $35,000 more dollars more. The car never be do no. That's the price. Car be ever cost like 500 or 400,000. But be do na 1.1 million. That is how come any Land Cruiser almost 2 million Ghana cedis, and just normal Toyota Vit 140,000 Ghana cedis. So it is because of Niema Ghana you put in place. The reason why these countries do that, maybe it's Ghana, we can have a fair competition, because in per se US for flood our market so much. We've been able to do this very well, but we've not been able to do it well with China. Well, the reason why China is able to break these barriers is because China, you realize, say China move back. They survey your country and come and plant the factory in your country. Yeah. Exactly. So they bring the raw materials, they process it, and they sell it to you. So they break all that barrier. Say you import tea, but then the materials, but say tea Ghana. So tea you farm on crop for and create employment. So that is like a win-win
for both of them.
Yeah. Exactly. But US no US will come and no US company will come and set up anything here. What I say, the last time a US company buy a Twitter, they closed down. So it's more like they will export, and Ghana is being a protectionist. Our party says, okay, let's protect our industries from being ravaged by these foreign countries. So that's how come the US is having a trade deficit, because they are importing more. Ghana, they are importing cocoa from Ghana, they are importing gold from Ghana, they are importing mango, they are importing a lot of things. Aside from that, they are importing a lot of services, cleaners, one more baby, a whole lot of maid work, artisan work. They are importing more services into their country. But on the other hand, we are not importing anything from the US. Okay, so the US is actually importing a lot, but they are not exporting anything yet. And one of the things I use to kind of bridge that advantage is use taxes. That's why I won't say would be manania, but they slap it to 17% tax. Whereas by US on the bar, even on agricultural goods, there's a particular framework. I think it's been created among African countries. So the pineapple near the idea, there's no taxes on it, because edible products. So the competition has really been fair for Ghanaians. I say, the yen tax, but the bar near slap taxes be brief. So American companies can't really compete. I mean, for example, you find say a Ghanaian poultry. Okay, let me say a Ghanaian poultry farm. Okay, eggs. Okay, so all the eggs the US will not necessarily charge you tax. Perhaps you pay the basic things, your shipping and other things. What I said, once it goes through customs, almost veterinary side, it come and eggs, so it has no diseases. But US for the egg bar, we charge them 17%. You get where the whole trade deficit is coming in. And Ghana, a country like Bangladesh, 97%, and Donald Trump came 97%. To most countries be and they are ripping off the United States of America. I don't think anyone want 2-3 jobs. So that's it. But then all of these things, it has its own, if anything, advantage and disadvantage. At the same time, to make us okay, now what if the country actually exports? So if in this case, if US was exporting more than it imports, and a trade surplus. So all of these things, when your own imbalances near the other. And as I'm saying, trade deficits, it usually happens when US or more strong demand, because US they be pay fruits, pay coffee, pay cocoa, pay tea. So we send them cocoa because there's a strong demand for that, and also have a stronger currency, which is the dollar. And even aside from that too, US have a weak local market. So I don't think any US farmer would like to, obey cocoa. Say they prefer to import the cocoa beans and they process it themselves. So Trump came in and says, let's balance all of these things, and at the end of the day, let's hash things out. Okay, so the all charging and the better we can also penetrate into your market. It is good, it is bad at the same time, because times have changed. Okay, the approach of tariffs actually doesn't necessarily work, because at the end of the day, so Ghana forecast say me the cocoa be charging me 17%. What would the producer do? Or the packer price, Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm sending a cocoa back, na cocoa bag me the not back per minimum say okay, one cocoa bag $100. Okay, and I see a US force me the B bar on better one charge me 17% more taxes. And then me the best shame 5,100 we me the just 17 but can I 170. So most people will pass it to the consumer. So tea and can be or just a cup of tea for like $2. So it will be like $2.01 and at $2.10. Most producers and also most people or most companies will pass it on to the consumer. So that intent to can also increase the price there. So that's one of the things to which can really happen. But I personally think, in as much as this thing can really work, and there will be some sort of negotiations along the way, most of the tariffs will be dropped. Other countries will also drop, because if Bangladesh now may charge 70%, 97% on US goods coming into my country, now US air charge me 40. What I'll say is, okay, let me take the 40 off. For me, my 97. Then be 67. Okay. You are good to go. So your taxes are like hashed out your taxes by taking mine out. So more negotiations will come in as time goes on. You see that most countries will drop their tariffs, and at the end of the day, it's going to be more like a win-win for the United States and those particular countries. And even far from that, so I think the US have to take the penetrating approach. The days and the systems have changed. Why am I saying that? Nowadays, you can't just be exporting to other countries. So you see a country like China. Okay. On our yard, you look at many Chinese companies everywhere. What they do is they come, they set up the factory, they employ our own people. Until you set up the factory, number one, you employ and crop for. Until you call China most near there, they Ghana for the do and go. Even in Penifone come China, almost answer Ghana for me. Yeah. A friend is saying, a Juma no more my microphone. Aside from that, these people are paying. I remember when GRA was doing their thing, they went there, they've put in system where take tax. So aside from they employing Ghanaians, they are also paying taxes. These are all income generators. So when the company comes to establish itself in the country, it creates employment, they pay taxes, it boosts the economy, and at the end of the day, it generates revenue. So all of these things, the US should take this approach of coming and penetrating into the country. But usually, it almost a profit margin, because for example, a Tesla, Tesla Cybertruck, the foundation series starts from $110,000. So what the back now be ton. Sa foundation series no cry now what is up by $10,000 now about $100,000. We are talking the baseline, the car is starting from 1.6 million Ghana cedis. Wow. Why the first is can you go face is can way so it is very hard for these countries and also for the companies in America to penetrate. That's why grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 near the other. But at the end of the day, I think that there are ways and means that we can get there. A typical example is when I bought a friend is saying a heater, kettle. Okay, I remember I said after 2 years or 3 years ago, I bought like 10 kettles within a year. Every 1 month, I say. So there was one time and I meet trim at a particular place who will be the goose be braba, and not the big good anymore. But in business so. Like per kettle, because that time a kettle so will be. And you might tell you say if so we US or no or co-US now I turn all their banner heading. Now remember says US class most of them cry rejected but I said or the aba and all tongue.
Yeah.
I bought the kettle. Me about 2 years.
And that's so.
Me catch the number of kettle I'm at towards China. It will be a China Mall. It will be a Melcom. It will be a Palace. It will be a ShopRite. Madam Jai. But could be an glass and I say, and no dear, oh yeah, lights and LED lights and I saw it do me. Beneba. Oh, miniaba, and a pile pole.
And no. Ah, we don't want
poof, just like that. It's serious.
Wow.
So you see, say, American companies, even do more products on the boy then. A typical example here, iron.
Yeah.
I say about American products, or more kettle, or more fryers, rice cooker. So my time is to rice cooker. See, America from rice cooker no.
So where they monwana?
I use gas. But also use we are with the jollof a simakama.
What me jollof nina?
Oh yeah, na more CB or but once a more industrial one CB. Super and on a touch near there. Then young quiny bibia. It was really good. The old time I said, "What the call repair?
Of fetch in Kakrabia na sergeant
or sister BBB trans BBB.
Also to shame.
Or to show back workers or toy and ye man also German.
Ness I didn't know.
I just but when you USD come on. So I think that we need to find ways and means a bit more penetrating into the country, and we need to do something. Even my quick with all of these things I make. Let me use a car. There's no way I may tell because so when you are not helping your country. Yes, I won't help my country on that. There's no way I'll be Ghana car and a China car me magic.
Oh, the second tanker cars in your back.
Me dana sinyaku punsha me.
One mama no simple.
Me pay on fa.
Ah, okay.
Me pay.
I didn't hear.
Who tell me a year?
As a tanker cars in your back.
Tell me China car me pay. Even Japan car cry me pay.
Okay.
Europe and a US. I will give me the menu.
Okay.
Me use to be my test here try. I used an American car 2 years. Me about my fitting shop that. Because you use your for the beer na mini fitano. I say yet shop and now top. I say it doesn't make sense. So we need to, and even those cars when I second hand will be near the abroad said now I turn low price and I will use 2 years. I want from fitting shop that. And it's not like who you swear. Oh yeah, I take it to the shop. Yeah, diagnosis need BB, and they tell us there's nothing wrong with it. All I do is change the oil, put in most of these four wheels. Use coolant instead of water. Or the coolant go and I'll brake pad. No, after some time, can't grab a mouse sign say change your brake pad. Then change it. These are things that you change periodically. But say can't never say. Oh, only forget.
And time see.
Ain't see. I say be our car mileage in your 1 million miles. And then the strongest car was Ghana for the Uber and you Toyota Vets. And people don't know Toyota Vets, no. The 2 plus, the 3 blocks, no. Year 2010, 2011, 2012, put the 2010, 2011, and 4 consumption war from. And then go for you so, which means the car is even older than Lady Ultimate Jane. It is working. It's not Toyota Vets BM1 because Toyota Vets was discontinued around 2013. A 2010, 2011 car. Imagine. Isn't it concerning? Yeah, better can tank. That's exactly what is really going on. And I don't know if Ghana is going to countermeasure. But if they will countermeasure or Mahama if they won't counter and your Mahama
we did.
We did.
We did. It was more updates on this issue and other matters.